The war is on. Paramount-Skydance has just offered $108 billion directly to the shareholders of Warner Brothers Discovery, going over the heads of the executives. However, I feel that in the end, they may still lose this bidding war to that of Netflix. And I'm going to explain to you exactly why I feel that way. And also, we have to address the doom and gloom pertaining to Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery. So yeah, this may very well be a lengthy video. So you know what that means? Things are about to get a lot of spicy, baby. All here today on the 4KO. This article is coming from comicbookmovie.com. If you're familiar with the 4KO, you will know that this is my preferred site to get my news from. So shout out to them for continuing to bring the noise. It is titled, War Breaks Out Between Paramount and Netflix as Ted Sarandos declares, quote, "We have a deal done," unquote. Earlier today, the news broke that Paramount-Skydance has launched a hostile bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. However, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos claims not to be worried about what David Ellison is planning. Quote, "Today's move was entirely expected," unquote. We're going to get back to why that quote is very, and I mean very, 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 very important. He said at a conference in New York hosted by Wall Street bank UBS, quote, "We have a deal done and we're incredibly happy with the deal. It's great for the shareholders. It's great for consumers," unquote. Money talks in every line of business, but particularly Hollywood. While Netflix's $82.7 billion deal offers $27.75 a share, Paramount's bid is for $30 per share. So the streaming service definitely has a battle on its hands. I would argue that it's the other way around. Appearing on CNBC, Ellison even said, quote, "Cash is king," unquote, and seems confident he can sway Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders. He also argued that a Netflix, Warner Brothers Pictures, and HBO merger will be a negative for streaming and the industry alike, playing on concerns raised ever since news of the planned acquisition broke last week. Quote, "The Writers Guild of America has already issued a statement that the deal must be blocked," unquote, Ellison said. He also said this, quote, "Hollywood legends like James Cameron and Jane Fonda has spoken out, describing the Netflix deal as a disaster for theatrical films. Paramount's proposal provides vastly superior certainty and projections for Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders and the Hollywood community." Now let me get in this kitchen and cook. First, I would like to say I had no idea that a studio can do this. I always thought that when two studios agrees to the terms and conditions, negotiations was over with. I had no clue that an opposing studio can go directly to the shareholders. You learn something new every day. That is why they call this a hostile bid, because they're going over the heads of the studio, okay? But with that being said, totally unexpected. Now I know Ted said that he was expecting it, and I'm about to get into why Ted feels that way. All right, I have Googled Paramount-Skydance net worth, and it goes like this. The net worth market cap of the combined Paramount-Skydance entity fluctuates, but recent figures from early December 2025 show it at around $15 to $17 billion. All right. So Paramount-Skydance at this very moment is only worth $15 to $17 billion, which means they really don't have the cash to offer $108 billion. So they have to get loans from all over the place, right? The Saudis, Donald Trump's son-in-law, they have to get funds elsewhere. But when I Google Netflix net worth, it says Netflix's net worth, typically measured by market capitalization, was around $442 billion. Let me say that one more time, Dr. Umar style. Netflix's net worth is $442 billion. Now, let's go back to this article. What did they say? So the streaming service definitely has a battle on its hands. What did I say? I will argue that it's the other way around. David Ellison doing this unexpectedly. What did Ted Sarantos say? Today's move was entirely expected. Why? Because Ted Sarantos understands that they're playing with big boy money. All right. What the hell do David Ellison think? He truly believes that Netflix doesn't have $110 billion. This man has lost his goddamn mind. Yeah, I understand. You're trying to get the approval from that of the shareholders, but you have to also understand that Netflix can counteroffer. They can counteroffer you. So if the shareholders say, yeah, we'll take your 108, Netflix can come in and say, I will give you 110. I will give you $1 more than what this man is offering at this very moment. What the hell did he think? He truly believes that Netflix doesn't have the cash when they're worth 1,000 times more than that of Paramount-Skydance? I believe that David Ellison doesn't want to face reality that he is out of his league here, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't want to accept his L. Yeah, you're offering $108 billion, but you cannot act like the opposing team doesn't have more money than you. But you're not used to that? You're not used to someone being able to outbid you? Are you embarrassed? I don't know why. And not to mention, can Paramount take on this much debt? They just bought or just merged with Skydance. And when that happened, they laid off people. So the same argument that Mr. Ellison is saying right here, he also argued that a Netflix, Warner Brothers Picture, and HBO merger will be a negative for the streaming industry. And what is he talking about? He's going to do the same thing. The market share that many people who are unwilling to acknowledge will be the same for any studio that buys Warner Brothers Discovery. The only difference is Netflix doesn't have market share theatrically. See, a lot of people truly believe that this whole Netflix deal would not be approved. And we got to go over exactly why it may very well be approved. See, everyone is trying to argue that Netflix owning Warner Brothers Discovery will be a disaster for that of theatrical films. But what people are failing to realize is what they are accusing Netflix of trying to do. Other major studios are already doing it. Think about it like this. You got Marvel, right? Marvel was a franchise strictly in theaters, right? You got the Avengers, Captain America Brave New World, you got Captain America the Winter Soldier, you got that of Iron Man, you got that of Thor, you got all types of films that was released strictly in theaters. What the hell is going on at this very moment? We have Marvel-related TV shows with movie-level budgets on Disney Plus. Star Wars. All right. Star Wars was a franchise strictly for that of theaters. How many Star Wars shows that Disney Plus has? So between Disney Plus and nobody else, you may very well have about 30 TV shows from franchises that belongs in the movie theaters. All right. Paramount Plus is no different. All right, they're using Star Trek at this very moment. Should I say Star Trek did start off as a TV show, but still in all, let's not act like they're not taking franchises and putting it on their streaming service. Do you truly believe that Paramount-Skydance is going to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery and not utilize their library? You are absolutely ridiculous. And let's talk about HBO Max. All right, you got the Batman. All right, Gotham. You all know the Batman. But you spun off the Penguin from that franchise. All right. And think about it like this. A lot of you enjoyed the Penguin. You also have that of the Harry Potter TV series coming to HBO Max. All right. So while you're sitting up there talking about this could be disastrous for the movie industry or the movie-going experience, you have to understand that it's already happening. It's already going down. I feel that people just want to simply ignore it. I mean, think about it like this. All Netflix has to do in the hearing with Congress about the acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery is bring up all of the points that I just made to you. All they have to say is, listen, if you're concerned about us taking strictly theatrical franchises and putting it on our platform, we have to ask, why is it okay for other companies to do it too? How are you going to block us when they're going to do the same thing? In fact, they're doing the same thing at this very moment. So when it comes down to the evidence and negotiations regarding the potential acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery, I feel that no one can argue that this is not happening right before our eyes. They could bring up all of those franchises. They could bring up Percy Jackson. That's right. Percy Jackson was supposed to be a theatrical franchise. It's on Disney Plus. We got The Rings of Power. That is the Lord of the Rings franchise. It's on Amazon Prime. Okay? So everybody who's streaming at this very moment, they're adding to the problem. And they're going to complain about said problem. I don't understand exactly what these people want. Do you want to be entertained, or do you want to cry about something that you cannot save? Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery has nothing to do with the movie industry not performing on the level that they're used to. All right. It is a consumer market, and people need to understand that. Now back to this bidding war. I truly believe that Netflix is not going to give up. I truly believe that by the end of all of this, Netflix will put the Ellisons in their place. They're going to show them exactly how this thing should be done. All right. People are afraid. I'm not. Because I understand that when it comes down to any studio acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery, they're going to receive more market share. David Ellison, he wants HBO Max so he can compete with that of Netflix, so he can get on their level. If they acquire Warner Brothers Discovery, he would never reach them. That is what he's afraid of. But if you ask me, he has no choice but to accept his fate. So with that being said, Netflix is not out of the game. And trust me when I tell you, they're not going to give up. They have plans for the studio, and they have already started them. Something tells me that they have already came across a path on what they want to do with these franchises and the studio. All right. This is a conversation a lot of people don't want to have. They don't want to accept that media is different these nowadays. All right. Everybody don't feel like us. We all love a good movie at the theaters, but you have to understand that we are becoming the minority. Make sure you hype, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you like. And always remember, let the bon temps roule. That means let the good times roll. But in the comments below, let me know, how do you feel about this bidding war And who do you believe will come out on top? And also, do you agree with me when I say that the argument of Netflix acquiring Warner Bros. Discovery makes no sense because every studio is doing what they're doing at this very moment? Let me know in the comments below.